Something, something, space, final frontier.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the USS MythoDoodle.
If my brother was here, he'd be absolutely triggered because he hates it when people do Shatner impressions.
Oh boy.
Because he says he thinks that people are doing it just to mock how much of a ham actor he is.
I mean, agree with him there.
They are, but that's the fun of it.
I don't really think he's a bad actor, though, so...
No, I just think it's funny.
He's not a bad actor, he's got a certain skill set.
He has a very particular set of skills.
Make him a nightmare for people like you.
He's a very theatrical actor. I mean...
I love cheese.
I mean, the guy actually did cut his teeth in the theater.
I mean, a lot of Star Trek's leading men usually do.
Yeah, yeah, with just a few exceptions, I think like most of them did start off in the theater.
Oh my god. Alright.
So I guess, should we at least open the floor with who is the better captain? Picard.
I was going to ask for our exposure to Star Trek to give us a foothold first, like with Elder Scrolls.
Well, my exposure was watching the original series movies. These on VHS.
Okay, so you watched the movies first.
Yeah, thanks to my dad.
Okay. And Forrester, surely you were old enough to be there when the show first came out?
I was born the same year TNG started, and it just was around before I was even old enough to know it wasn't real. So it has liminal space in my head in which everything on TV existed somewhere.
Oh my god,
the TOS movies got shown on TV pretty frequently in like Saturday, Sunday afternoons in the 90s, or at least the like Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock trilogy. So I saw those so many times as a kid. Like when I was 5 years old, I could draw all the uniforms and their insignias from memory of the television.
Oh shit.
So
I'm not sure if I got the pips right on the
I think they should be on the right.
Are they on the right?
It is right.
Where the fuck's that erase right now? Okay, so my exposure to Star Trek was watching TNG with my grandma at first. And then after we got cable, I started branching it because, like, I spent most of my childhood without cable. And we only ended up getting it when I was we got satellite when I was in high school. So at that point, I started watching lots of TNG on Spike TV back when that was a thing.
Oh yeah.
And then after that, I finally let myself start watching DS9. That's pretty freaking. And after a while, I finally committed to watching it on streaming services all the way through, and found out, holy shit, DS9 kind of became my favorite.
mine too.
Ah, hell yeah, we're in the same boat.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I guess aside from Dylan, because I think my understanding, Dylan, is that you didn't really watch much of it.
I did meet Nichelle Nichols when I was a teenager.
All right.
That's something.
It wasn't long after Leonard Nimoy died I took my friend there who was a lot more autistic than me, and he didn't have a filter. So he just straight up asked about it, and it put her in a mood.
Oh dear.
Oh god.
That had to be embarrassing.
Oh my god, I wanted to scream at him. But she was still very gracious. She made us kneel down beside her, hold her hands while we took a picture with her while she sat in a chair.
Still, that's embarrassing.
I know. I know. Sometimes I still think about it.
I recently discovered I'm actually a degree removed from a Star Trek actor.
Like, how many degrees?
1.
Alright.
Okay, so deep lore, an old friend of the family. He was a professor at Pacific Lutheran University.
Right.
And Connor Trenier, who played Trip Tucker on Enterprise, he went to PLU.
Oh shit.
In fact, he's from Walla Walla.
Jesus. All right.
Yeah,
Generally, how do we feel about Enterprise?
I like it.
It is a good idea that sucked for 3 seasons thanks to Rick Berman.
Damn. All right. I know that, like, I really wanted to like Enterprise, but I guess, like, oh god, it's kind of hard to quantify what about it just didn't, like, it's not that I disliked it, it's that it just didn't click for me like some of the other shows did. Granted, I wasn't really a fan of Voyager either.
Enterprise, I don't know. I think it's one of the better Stargate seasons.
Alright, that's a pretty hot take. Why don't you elaborate on that?
It's just that it's basically modern times. It's only 100 years out of the present. They talk and act and all very much like today. And all their gear and everything looks more like the time it was made. Because it's supposed to be like the very first, earliest ship. And it was around the same time that on Stargate SG-1, they were starting to get like actual interstellar travel, and Stargate Atlantis and all. They were, okay, Atlantis had just barely started when Enterprise ended, but still, I mean, it's like, it feels like it's starting at the ending point of the other show, and that just bleeds over so much that it felt more connected to Stargate than Star Trek at that point.
Mm-hmm. The problem with Enterprise is that for the first 3 seasons, it doesn't really capitalize on its premise, and this is more of the fault of Rick Berman. Like, you can basically divide Star Trek into like 3 or 4 distinct eras.
So you got Roddenberry first.
Yeah, you have Roddenberry. You have Gene Roddenberry with the original series and the animated series. You have Harv Bennett.
And the beginning of TNG, let's not forget.
See, I just divided into 2. Star Trek is 1965 to 2005, and 2009 to now is not Star Trek, and that's it.
Well, the movies are the Harv Bennett era. TNG to Enterprise, I call the Rick Berman era. And then everything after that is the Alex Kurtzman era.
I kind of consider the movies and TNG to be basically the same style. I feel like there's 3 eras to me. Because the movies and TNG also overlapped with each other.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, as you said, the TOS and the animated series, and then like Wrath of Khan to the end of Enterprise, and then 2009 to present. And it doesn't really matter which universe it's depicting. There's a certain style. Like they say, like, oh, well, they've gone back to the classic timeline. No, even in Picard, it's more stylistically in line with the 09.
Yeah, well, the reason why I kind of divide I kind of make a distinction between Roddenberry and Bennett is because after the first movie they basically kicked Gene upstairs, and he basically had control ripped from him, and they put it in Harv Bennett's hands.
After about one season of TNG, he went to the man upstairs. So I don't know if Roddenberry passing on has anything to do with why it grew the beard, as they say, but
it was
season 1, 2 of TNG was quite a change.
Yeah, well, that's because Michael Piller became one of the main writers for the show. Rick Berman was still in charge, but I had this discussion with my brother, and even he agreed with me. If the problem with the Berman era, with Rick Berman, is that he's too faithful, too conservative with keeping it in with Gene's vision, Kurtzman's problem is that he takes it too far in the other direction, that it's unrecognizable.
Well, I think there's a lot to be said about how what makes a lot of Star Trek is sort of the tension between whoever the showrunner is at the time and people kind of interacting with him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and correct me if I get this wrong, but I feel like in the first season of TNG, it's a lot of Gene. It's a lot of Roddenberry.
It is. Like, it's basically...
Kind of Roddenberry unleashed, if you will.
It was Gene-based... I'm going to be stealing some bits from SF Debris just because I haven't seen anyone else on the internet cover Star Trek more thoroughly than he has. But a lot of Season 1 TNG is basically stuff from the TOS era, or that didn't get to be filmed. And
I think it was from Phase 2 that didn't get to be filmed.
Yeah.
The 70s show that they had in production and then canceled.
Yeah. And even then, it's also kind of like... It's also like Gene trying to make the show he wanted to make in the 60s, but couldn't because he was limited by the technology of the time.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at, that there's a lot of it that's Gene Roddenberry without any constraints, and it kind of had like the George Lucas effect with the prequels, where like nobody really challenging him kind of hurt the craft in the end.
It's kind of amazing that, for as good of an idea as Gene had with just the premise alone, it seemed like Star Trek did better when he wasn't the guy making the important decisions.
For sure.
I mean, like, my brother and I even went over kind of what are considered the best episodes of TOS, and Gene does have writing credits for them, but he's not usually the primary writer as far as I could tell. Like, somebody else has like a credit before he does.
And he wasn't much of a science guy. Like, he heard a theory that Darwinian evolution would follow a similar path on every planet, that like plants and animals and things would follow set patterns. So the Omega Glory, he just straight up has the United States flag and the preamble and the exact same calligraphy, and the only explanation is that they had reached the same developmental point in their society.
I mean, there was an entire planet of Nazis. And
a planet where there's a kind of a Roman Empire that...
Oh, you mean,
yep.
you mean the one that was ruled by Apollo?
Bread and circuses, and then there was like a plot twist about the sun god, and then Uhura translated at the end it was the son of God. Their Roman Empire had developed Christianity.
Or how about that other episode where they land on an old West town that's ruled by a megalomaniacal computer?
Okay, there's a difference though between using old props that are like literally depicting something that's supposed to be and like I can forgive that. Like Doctor Who, the Daleks' human ancestors were basically space Nazis, And it's like, okay, they represent Nazi-like culture, fine. But the exact calligraphy and the humans mispronouncing "we the people" as "e planista," and then Kirk realizing that it's the preamble because he's got it memorized. That was peak stupidity, and Roddenberry just not getting science.
I also told this to my brother that Gene basically had two modes of writing. It was either Reddit tier atheism or barely disguised fetish.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess we got the... I mean, shit, I do remember I liked the Roman Empire bit, but there's a lot of TOS stuff.
Wait, hold on, Neville. Rome can actually be justified. They had an episode with American Indians, and they did say that people from different Earth cultures had been taken from Earth and seeded on other planets to preserve their uniqueness. So that was a pretty good excuse. It's just that the one that had the United States was supposed to be a over 1,000-year-old society. But the Greek and Roman stuff actually did get explained.
No, yeah. The Greek and Roman, I mean, I generally like that part. But I guess, like, something that I would say about a lot of these sorts of stories and TOS, where they were basically, like, pretty clear Earth analogs, is that it feels like that was, like, parallel universe stories before that really took off and became popular.
Yep.
And Roddenberry operating off of the kind of progressive framework of there being like a set path of development for all civilizations everywhere.
Can you tell Gene was very much a dyed-in-the-wool liberal?
Yeah, but he was the old school.
He told you
he was the old school cool kind, though. He had been an LA cop and a World War II pilot and stuff like that. He was from the time where even the left-wing men were still men.
When men were men, and the ladies were green.
Girls were girls and men were men.
Speaking of which, Dylan's drawing Tendi from Lower Decks.
How'd I do?
That looks just like her.
I really hunkered down.
Also, hot take. Lower Decks is not as bad as everyone thought it was.
I mean, I haven't really seen much of it, but honestly, like, Rick and Morty, a Rick and Morty tenure immediately turns me off.
Okay, well, let me put it this way. If you're going to watch it, skip past the first 2 episodes. They're the worst. After that, the show actually picks itself up and starts improving. It's not really Star Trek self-parody. It's more like a love letter to the TNG era.
I'll consider it. I can't say I've been very impressed by most modern Trek stuff. I kind of just ended up dropping off of it.
I would not blame you for that, because after discovering the first couple seasons of Picard, there was not much hope for it. But I think with Lower Decks kind of righted the ship by being something that was more of a throwback to the old days, and even Strange New Worlds bucked the trend of serialization and dark storylines and made something that was more like going back to the TOS days. In fact, it's all like Enterprise. It's also a prequel show. It's about the Enterprise when it was under Pike's command.
Forrester, is that a Stoffel?
Yes, it is. At this point, he's become a tradition.
Yeah. It's actually kind of neat because, the first season of Strange New Worlds is Pike learning to come to terms with his eventual fate in the Menergy.
Menagerie?
Uh, Menagerie. Yeah.
Menagerie.
Yeah, you know, look, the episode.
Minergy sounds like what Astolfo has.
The episode.
Energy?
The episode where he's the episode of TOS where he's a cripple.
Right,
Yep.
that's the pilot. Or at least the
No,
first
Cage-
episode, I think.
Cage
Because
is
the
the-
pilot was just about Pike.
Yeah, and my brother has said like it's valuable from a historical perspective, but it's not a good episode just because the characters don't really act human in any way.
Yeah. And I think that one has a lot of Gene's fingerprints on that one, as I recall.
Probably, I would not be surprised if it was, because like Gene had a very specific idea of what people should be like in the future.
And it got really weird and inhuman at times, as I recall.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, like first season of Strange New Worlds, Pike has had a vision thanks to some Klingon time crystals that he is going to be crippled for the rest of his life, like sometime in the future, and he is learning to make peace with that. And he even has one scene where he shares with a younger Kirk, and he realizes that Kirk's the guy who should be taking command of the Enterprise, because he got to see an alternate timeline where Balance of Terror happened, but it was him in charge, and it goes horribly wrong.
As you do.
That for the basically that's the episode where he really makes peace with what's going to happen to him, and he realizes that if he's got to step down, he knows he's going to be leaving the ship in good hands.
Mm.
It's kind of a good thing they did switch, because the actor Jeffrey Hunter was killed in an accident in 1969. So
Oh, Jesus.
losing the captain of the Enterprise that early would have changed the franchise, because part of what made Kirk a legend is the way he aged in the role, and arguably his most important and famous appearance in all of pop culture would never have happened, because that was 20 years later. Or about 15 years later. And Undiscovered Country, which is an underrated masterpiece.
Like I said, if you don't want to give Lower Decks or Stranger Worlds a shot just because you're burned out on Modern Trek, I would not blame you, but I actually do think, as far as the Kurtzman era has gone, they've at least gotten a bit of that spark of the old days back, about as best as they could in this day and age.
Okay.
Okay, Forrester. Take a wild guess who I'm drawing.
I know exactly who you're drawing to go with the theme.
Oh no.
Oh dear
no.
Lord. Ferengi.
Oh, yep. Gold pressed Nottingham.
It's kind of amazing they managed to survive past their first couple TNG appearances.
Oh yeah. I think like what they did with them, and I feel like what they did with them in DS9 is part of what makes DS9 so good. Is a good chunk of that is part of how they handle the Ferengi, or at least it's an indicator of the things that DS9 does right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it challenges a lot of the assumptions of the prior era of or not the prior era, like the rest of Star Trek, but it does so in a way that how do I put it? It's more asking questions than just taking it down.
Oh yeah, I think DS9 was kind of looking at the setting, and sort of asking questions that really needed to be dealt with. Like, what does the Federation do if they're at war? Or how do they function with a society that doesn't kind of want them around? in either case the Bajorans or the Maquis.
Oh, for sure. And kind of really actually tackling some of the things that Roddenberry kind of wanted to take for granted, like basically like the. Honestly, like, there's a lot of it. Like, a lot of it had to do with the interaction that the Federation has with like faith and religion because of the nature of the Bajorans.
Which, by the way, would have, if Gene had been alive when DS9 was aired, that would have just been one of many things that would have made him lose his shit.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think he would have really approved of how, given how he approached it. Like, I feel like in TOS he was as gentle as he was with religion only because he was constrained by the time period.
Probably.
Because, like, I don't think he really got, like, Reddit levels until, like, until after TOS. Maybe somewhat in the... fuck.
I would say that that Apollo episode is about as close to Reddit tier as he got during that era.
Yeah, and even then, that one is kind of... Even then, it doesn't really go all the way there.
Let's get started.
Yeah, but yeah,
but again, I think that's owed a lot to like the time period.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, still, like, just the fact that you had at a Star Trek show that was openly discussing matters of faith and religion, like, that just would have been one of many things. He would have also lost his shit.
Like, discussing it and not exactly dismissing it out of hand either.
Well, not only that, there's also, like, the fact that it's showing that the Federation isn't infallible. It's showing that...
Oh, I think that would have absolutely drove him up a wall.
It's also depicting the Federation in a more militaristic... as being more militaristic, which is something he absolutely would have been against.
Which is kind of funny, given that, like, in the original tenure of TOS, they were technically kind of at war with the Klingons.
And they also had, like, a quote-unquote treaty with the Romulans.
That was constantly broken.
Oh shit. Alright, hold on. I'll be right back. I'll be right.
Alright.
It was not a show he would have, that could only have existed with him gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any way he was signing off on DS9. But, you know what? DS9 is freaking awesome.
Not only that, like, here's something else that I think Ron Moore said, that because Berman was so conservative with trying to stay true to Gene's vision, he was a constant, maybe not constant, but he was a very frequent interference with what they wanted to do on DS9.
Oh, for sure.
See, I can understand that, even though I'm probably the exact opposite of Gene Roddenberry. Especially if he's dead, I would just feel really weird doing things that I knew were contrary. I kind of get offended on his behalf when things contradict his vision, because I just, like, protecting a creator's vision is important to me.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think Berman was too faithful. He basically was holding it hostage to the point that it stagnated. This was a problem. I'm
thinking what worked with DS9 is that it wasn't that Berman. It was a tension between Berman and, was it Kurtzman that was also on it?
Kurtzman doesn't come until 2009 with the J.J. Abrams movie.
Okay, never mind then. There's a tension between him and the writers of DS9 that kind of wanted to kind of push the boundaries of it, and I think it's that tension that really helped it work. Because they could push the boundaries, but they were also checked from going too far.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the stuff they wanted to do on DS9 was kind of held back, but I think Star Trek is definitely one of those franchises where it's like you kind of see that when you let somebody in charge of the franchise just go completely hog wild, it's not good for it.
Hint, hint, Kurtzman.
Yeah. For sure.
But with Berman, it's like that's, like I said, the fact that him being too faithful showed up in like with Voyager and during Enterprise, because the problem with Voyager is that it frequently played things too safe.
Yeah, I felt like Voyager spent so much, like, Voyager definitely felt like it didn't really know what it wanted to do. Like, it sort of meandered around and kind of forgot that sometimes it felt like that Voyager kind of forgot that there's supposed to be a goal that they're going after.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's my hot take.
Okay, go for it.
On Voyager. I think Voyager was, both technologically and in terms of, like, character development and how to build a bloody story arc, better than TNG, but everything it did, TNG had done first. And to me, it's a conflict between, like, doing, like, for example, compare Hugh to Seven of Nine. Absolutely, I think Seven of Nine is a better story arc. Hugh's a one-time character, that a ball they completely dropped. Like, that's kind of a cringy episode. And yet, everything on Voyager is just a retread. And I don't know if that's valid to say, like, oh, well, you know, like Janeway falling for the Irish bartender was handled a lot more maturely than Riker and Minuet. I never believed Riker would fall in love with a hologram. But they did it first by over a decade. So it's like, that's the thing with Voyager. It just has this constant, we've seen this before, hanging over it, no matter, it's the sword of Damocles. No matter how well they did anything, it's a retread. It's the Borg again.
Fuck, if anything, they actually depowered the Borg in Voyager. Like in TNG, they were depicted as being like almost this unstoppable force.
Yeah.
This nigh unstoppable force.
Yeah, but okay, I'm a Tokusatsu fan, so I'm used to power creep.
Yeah. And then in Voyager,
the Green Ranger was an unstoppable force until he was the weakest of them.
Yeah. But then in Voyager, it's like this one Intrepid class ship, man, just to survive encounters with them time and time again. Let's also not forget, like the premise of Voyager is that they are trapped in the Delta Quadrant and trying to find their way back to the Alpha Quadrant. Like, they should be thinking about, supplies and everything. Basically stuff that the 2005 relaunch of Battlestar Galactica managed to nail down pretty well.
That's where they are. It is kind of an embarrassment. Lost in Space managed to be more about being lost in space than Voyager.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, you know, at the very bare minimum, you should do a better job than, you know, like Talking Carrots on Motorcycle show. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
The replicator just became just demon magic. Anything they wanted, they just conjured.
Even though they also had a guy who was supposed to be the ship's cook. And also one of the single most annoying characters in the entire franchise.
There you go. I tried doing Odo. How do you think I did?
It looks like him.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I was worried.
I'd like to see if Forrester's gonna have a hot take and defend Neelix.
Actually, I'm not. I didn't hate Neelix as much as I hated the Kess romance. Actually, Kess was pointless in general. Kess to 7 was one of the best changes. The Voyager did the same thing DS9 did, where 4th season they added a character who like gave them the show back. Worf on his own didn't change, like he didn't save the show per se. He just gave everybody kind of a new dynamic to bounce off of, and they really need it. 7 did about the same thing. And except 7 was more prominent than Worf. 7 became like almost.
And also it kind of helped that 7 was sort of a little bit antagonistic to the crew and their values at first. So it kind of helped create a tension and kind of helped. It kind of helped make the show more interesting.
Yeah. Although Torres was a little bit too hostile back.
Yeah, it wasn't really like she's challenging the values of the crew, and it's more like she's just picking fights with people because of that Maquis versus Starfleet thing that they had going on that they kind of forgot about after a bit.
And also Torres is half Klingon, so she's got anger issues.
Yeah, she had.
DS9 had the same problem though. Everybody was kind of at each other's throats in that like pilot in the beginning. Kira was like a nasty person when it started.
To be fair, in fairness, her planet just got over for 100-year occupation by the Cardassians, and now the Federation says we're here to help. And
I'm from the Federation, and I'm here to help.
Can you honestly?
It made sense. It's just that DS9 would actually end up having like well, that's the thing. It's like people remember TNG as being like, you know, this found family, but not really. They're more like the ultimate office worker crew.
They were already cool with each other. They were all highly professional, and they knew how to work with each other and get along.
Yeah. Yep. DS9 started and ended on the opposite ends. Like it started where they completely disliked each other, and then by the time it ended, they were like literally family.
Yeah,
like I don't feel like the Enterprise D ending its mission really had that much emotional to say or do. I mean, I think they probably had like a, you know, last day party on 10 Forward and said goodbye to each other, and that was it. It wasn't like the tearjerker finale of DS9 because they weren't that close.
Do you want to know?
They kind of didn't need to be either. They didn't. It was a job.
Do you want to know like how much Sisko really meant to Kira? There's a Lower Decks episode where the Cerritos goes to. So the Cerritos is the ship in Lower Decks. They go to DS9 to deliver some gifts to some visiting dignitaries from the Gamma Quadrant. And in Kira's office, she still has Sisko's baseball.
Baseball. I knew it.
Yep. She's still holding on to it, waiting for him to come back.
That show predicted there'd be no World Series after 2042, which I hope they'll be wrong about. Do you remember the one where the Ferengis were the Roswell aliens? And they were like,
that was pretty hilarious.
We understand Earth, baseball, and root beer. Or when Quark sees cigarettes, and it's like they're highly addictive and they kill you. Where do humans get them? They buy them. They'll buy anything.
The moment Quark discovered he really loves humans.
Okay, guys, look.
I couldn't believe in the final episode he deadass said he was going to make Ferenginar great again. That aired in 1999.
Holy shit.
Forrester.
I mean, I liked Quark before, but holy fuck.
You made
Nice one. Neville. Hey, you'll appreciate this one. Do you remember the episode Past Tense where Earth was like dystopian?
Yeah.
God, I'm trying to. Is that the one where Cisco gets warped into like a riot of some kind in the past, or am I thinking of something else?
That's it. You're correct.
That's the one. The Bell riots.
Yes, it's set in the then future year of 2024.
Yes, 2024.
They should have thought about this before they decided to add some January 6th footage to Strange New Worlds and canonize Joe Biden as the president in Cisco's dystopian riots.
Wait, what?
Yep, so now it's canon. That was because of Joe Biden.
Oh my god.
That's what happens when the new writers don't understand the old stuff and haven't been watching it.
Yeah, and when they just need to get their jab in so bad that they don't really think about the implications.
Speaking of implications, what is Dylan doing?
I saw Neko Arc earlier. Yep, it's Klingon Neko Arc.
It's not. That's not it. It's what he did to his cell phone.
I'm just drawing one you can.
You get that out of the replicator, Astolfo? Computer, monster energy, no sugar.
If you know, you know.
Oh my god. Trying to remember
It's
how
funny.
to do
It's funny people know who Neko Arc is, but nobody knows where she comes from, except for, well, I mean, obviously the people who are into the Tsukihime series. There you go. Just an inconspicuous can of monster.
Yeah, Tulaberry monster. Okay, so there's
Tula berries.
yes, it was a wine mentioned once on DS9, Tulaberry wine. When I was about 18, I was trying to act like I knew what I was talking about with some older guys and pretending like I had had wine. And the Episcopalian building on college campus did a wine tasting at that time, although the priest was adamant that you had to be 21. But I was pretending like I had tried the wines there because I wanted to sound sophisticated. And these guys were big Trekkies, so they asked if I'd had Tulaberry wine. And I did that twice. I did it with some girls who were talking about vodka watermelon and said I loved that drink. And I did it here, and it was several years. And then, this was in 2005. And then in 2018, I was rewatching DS9, and they said Tulaberry wine. I was like, SOB! That's what they did. But it was way too late to recover. I know they had a good laugh at me bragging about my knowledge of non-existent wines.
He's like, nah, Forrester's cool. He's had Tulaberry wine.
Right.
Gosh. I mean, shit, that stuff can be hard to come by. I mean, they got an exclusive contract selling that in the Gamma Quadrant.
Yeah. I'd pull it on someone now if I could. I swear, if I see somebody who's lying about wines, I'll ask them about Tulaberry. I'll do it. Pass the tradition on.
It is Garrick.
Yeah. Plain, simple Garrick.
Okay, I was away from the mic. Did anyone notice the programmer sucks?
Yes, Dylan.
With cats, I did.
Yes, Dylan.
Oh my
So I just-
lord.
But if it's TOS, they need a little unicorn horn because that's what they do is get a little obvious small dog and then put a unicorn horn on its forehead.
Fuck yeah.
Alright, in the chat, I just dropped a little meme.
Somebody delete them?
Thing that I'm kind of fond of.
Oh, I know where else to put a unicorn horn. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
I
kidding.
bet. I bet you do.
Can you behave yourself, Dylan?
Well, I
Oh,
was just.
Oh, right. The ears have the little ridges too. Having to relearn how to draw Cardassians.
You know, fun fact about Garrick, Andrew Robinson wasn't sure if he really wanted to take the role at first because... Do you want to know what Andrew Robinson's breakout role was?
What was it?
It was the Scorpio Killer in Dirty Harry.
Oh, shit.
And he was basically typecast for a lot of his career. And he wasn't... And at first he thought he was just going to be doing the Scorpio Killer, but in space.
And then Garrick turned out to be a far more complicated and nuanced character that people like a hell of a lot.
I have some bad news for Felix. He's a red shirt.
Oh no.
That only applies to the TOS era. TNG, it's the gold shirts.
That's true, but it's a TOS uniform.
Is he wearing a skirt?
Yes.
Yep, TOS. They made them all unisex and shit, and TNG.
Not in season 1. If you watch the TNG pilot, they tried to be politically correct and have the men in the skirt uniform.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was straight
I
up
don't
with
remember, I don't
bare
remember
hairy
the
legs
men in the
and boots.
skirt.
They
Holy
sure
shit.
did.
That's still not half as embarrassing as what they put Marina Sirtis in.
Wait, in TNG, it's a gold shirt?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you got the right color.
Okay.
Yeah. It's...
Okay. So I'll draw Neko Arc in the...
Yeah.
gold
that's
shirt.
I've actually said this a couple times on Twitter, but up until they actually forced Troy to change uniforms for the longest time, my dad jokingly referred to her as the Galactic Bimbo.
Jesus.
I mean, look what
Wow.
they made her wear.
Yep.
Oh, right, they got the little scales on there. I forgot about that. The little scales on their neck. There we go.
Like, it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard to take Troy seriously in that outfit. Granted, she was still hard to take even after the uniform changed when she would open her mouth, but at least after the uniform changed, she kind of looked professional.
Well, she was kind of like a civilian or something, and then the uniform change was to get her into a uniform in the movie, and that's why she had to like pass an entrance exam. Because they didn't want one person in the movie having a different uniform with no explanation.
Yeah, that happened in season 6, right?
Yeah. Yep.
There we go. There's Garrick.
I
He's
guess
plain
the
and simple.
Okay, I mean, this is probably a stupid question, but who was harder to tolerate, Troy or Wesley?
Oh, Wesley, by a fucking country mile. Like, I
Troy wasn't
honestly,
a bad
Troy didn't
character.
bother me all that much.
No, I actually like her. She just had a dumb outfit.
Yeah. Like, again, like, Troy, at the very least, like, most of the time, Troy kind of stayed in her lane and knew what when she stuck to her field and knew what she was doing, at least in her field.
Mm-hmm.
Wesley was just infuriating because he butt his head into literally everything.
Has there ever been like two different people you've had in your head and you think about, and they're let's say you have two like annoying people, and like you kind of combine them into one person, like they're so similar.
I'm lost.
Okay, it's like Will Wheaton occupies like the same space in my head as like Steve Shives.
That's fair. Especially now, they kind of have the same energy.
Doesn't he do
Yeah.
Star Trek videos?
If you did, by the way, if you did, Neville, if you don't think you hate Wesley enough, wait till you find out that he was basically Gene's self-insert.
Of course he was.
Yeah, Eugene
remember-
Wesley Crusher.
I distinctly remember.
That's his name is Eugene Wesley Roddenberry.
Thanks, Eugene. Very cool. It's like, wow, Wesley actually is a fucking self-insert Mary Sue. No wonder everybody fucking hates him.
Yeah, so when people say that it's sexist or whatever, just point out, no, the most hated self-insert Mary Sue of all time.
His
guy.
Yeah, it's Wesley Crusher. Famous for being hated. What the fuck happened there?
I think it's supposed to be a Borg.
Yes.
Is that... Oh, okay. For a second, I thought that the kid from Finding Nemo got assimilated.
The bird.
Man, that's
an old meme.
that's an old one.
Who are you talking to?
The boomer, obviously.
Right.
Speaking of Boomer, okay. You guys know that the Red Letter Media guys love Star Trek.
Yes.
I've got just a great photo of Rich.
Uh-oh.
You notice her other pigtail is a wires.
Come on, get in there, you.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. I forget which Best of the Worst this is from, but it's just so good.
Oh, I got that. I have that literal exact toy. It talks. It does the ship's computer voice. I got it for Christmas in 1995. That one he's holding. And because like I didn't have video games, so I just like pushed the button so on the Enterprise, and it'd be like enemy entering neutral zone, raising shields, firing photon torpedoes, and I just let the random things it would say generate the scenario, which they usually died. Shields failing, enemies firing photon torpedoes.
I just had the fun. I just had the funniest idea for a red shirt. Hold on. Let me look up a reference.
So here's a weird question that I feel like someone from the time might be able to answer.
Yeah.
Was it a coincidence that Jon Stewart and Benjamin Sisko started off having hair and no facial hair and ended bald but with a beard?
I don't know, and I've wondered that too. It's literally what I thought of at the time.
I only
Dale,
Like
yeah.
Green Lantern Jon Stewart from the Justice League cartoon.
I don't remember having hair.
No,
Yeah,
he did
no.
to start
First
with.
two seasons,
Oh wait,
yep.
yeah, he did.
Yeah, he had hair but no facial hair. And
I know
then
it was
later
makeover
seasons.
design.
Yeah.
All I know they ever explained it as is because of the relationship failure with Shayera, and he wanted a new look. And I think Vixen was behind it, and she was a model. But whether Cisco was the inspiration, I don't know.
That's quite a coincidence, though. The interesting thing is the behind-the-scenes reason why they eventually had Avery Brooks shave his head and then let him grow out the goatee. Originally, they didn't want him to look too much like his character Hawk in Spencer for Hire. Which I guarantee nobody here ever saw.
No, I know it existed, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, eventually they just reneged on that because he looked better with his head shaved.
Okay.
Okay, if Wesley is the most annoying character in the entire franchise, guys, who comes second place?
Oh fuck. I feel like Neelix is a pretty solid contender.
I would not argue that.
Like, just sheerly how annoying the individual character is. Yeah, I feel like Neelix is... He's a pretty solid contender. The only thing that I think he has above Wesley is that him being out of his depth is kind of part of the point. And he doesn't really very often, like... He doesn't step on anybody's toes all that much. He's just irritating.
Although I think...
I don't know. Forrester, you with me on that one?
I think so, yeah.
Third place would have to be maybe to Paul on Enterprise.
I guess. I feel like it'd be kind of a distant third. I'm sure there's somebody I hate a lot more, but... I don't know, it's been a hot minute since I watched Enterprise at all.
There was also that chick from Discovery.
I mean, as far as I understood, just about everybody from Discovery was annoying.
Yeah, from the Mary Sue, the main character, to the horrible token representative autistic one.
God, I forgot about that.
Okay, can anyone take any guesses who I'm drawing?
That looks like Aqua. I'm surprised you have nothing to say about Discovery doing horrible autistic representation, Dylan.
I've really checked out of. I mean, I haven't really been into Star Trek, but it's like I don't really care enough to. Look. It's like I'm not gonna gripe about what. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like they're not gonna get the shit right. So I was like, why complain about it?
True. Mariner on Lower Decks, like, she almost could have been worse than Wesley. I'm not exaggerating.
I mean, I was getting the impression that... I got the idea that that's kind of the impression people had of... Mariner's like the main character, right?
One of the main characters from Lower Decks. The four main leads are Mariner, Boimler, Tendi, and Rutherford. But yeah, like, the first two episodes, like, if you go by the first two episodes, Mariner seems like a girl boss. And had they
I can see why people would not respond well to that.
Like, yeah. And had they not course corrected with her as hard as they did, she would have gone down worse than Wesley. I'm sure of it.
I was just mad at the pilot that they've got, like, probably the greatest stunt woman in, like, cinema history from Hong Kong cinema, and they gave Michelle Yeoh absolutely nothing to do. And I mean, like, I don't expect her to do, like, the climax fight in Yes Madam in 1985 again, but I expect friggin' something, not to just, like, die in a few minutes. And it's like, okay, well, now they brought her back. It's like, well, too little, too late. You brought her back because people bitched about it. It's like, it'd be like having Jackie Chan. Like, literally, she was, like, I went to see Super Cop, Police Story 3 Super Cop in a theater for its 30th anniversary with Michelle Yeoh and Jackie Chan. She's literally on his level. It'd be like having Jackie Chan die in the first 10 minutes and never do anything. I never forgave them for that. But they were like, I guess, trying to be like, oh, well, you know, we're not going to have the Asian woman do karate. Well, why not? That's what Michelle Yeoh is famous for.
Instead, we're just gonna have this autistic girl be really awkward and say fuck at a very inappropriate moment, because we don't do that.
Thank you, Discovery. Very cool.
And it wasn't even like a funny moment that it was actually believable. It was a love to science moment. Like, I mean, I'm a biology major. I know for a fact that people don't act like that over tardigrades, even the hardcores. It's like, it's different culture. I don't know what to say. They're just, no. It's because you don't get surprised by things in science. You put a lot of time and research into it, and you're dulled to it by the time you're even discussing it with somebody.
Yeah. I mean, at least when Tendi was, at least Tendi being excited about doing science was just because it was more like her passion. And also, she's just generally a very energetic character.
So, Forrester, would you say that generally, like, when it comes to people who are in scientific fields, the thing that would genuinely be more exciting is, like, people reacting to something that they discovered and treating it as exciting more than them being excited themselves?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, oh, I didn't even think that was that big a deal. This was just, like, yet another increment in something that we found, but wow, I guess it's cool.
Yeah, it would be in that context, but that's not what they did. It was kind of a very specific, very 2017, IFL science kind of.
Oh, yeah. That shit. That kind of died away pretty hard because of, like, yeah, like you said, it's something kind of specific to 2017 or, like, the late 2010s, where it's like they're trying to do the huge, like,
2017, but I feel like it was actually outdated then, and I think that's why it was so cringe. I think it had had its moment, and it's like, oh wow, we're still doing that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess I said that because there were still people doing it, and there are people commenting on it. Also, Green Lantern Cisco.
Which is really... Avery Brooks not getting the... being so reclusive is doing us a disservice, because he would be a great Jon Stewart.
I mean, shit, I thought he was.
I mean, like, Avery Brooks has not acted in anything for, like, freaking ever. Like, he even skipped on...
Like, nothing?
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now.
Like, not even Broadway or anything?
He's probably done some theater work, but I mean, like, you're not gonna find him doing a lot of conventions or interviews just because he's very reclusive. Oh, wait, he's actually retired.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah. Let's see, when did he...
There we go. Green Lantern Avery Brooks. Green Lantern Jon Stewart. Or, not Jon Stewart, Green Lantern Cisco.
Yeah, also, I think that also to kind of dovetail on that infamous moment from Discovery. This was also a thing with pop culture at the time, where they were trying to push girls into STEM fields.
Oh, he was there, dude. Dylan was there at the time. He knows.
Oh yeah.
No, I was building off of Forrester's point.
Yep.
Like late 2000s, that's I don't know if any, I know we remember. I'm just thinking about people watching, because
Thing is, I was in science classes then. There were plenty of girls. In the health sciences, it was already more girls because of nursing careers and med techs and stuff like that. That's what made the whole thing, like, insultingly inorganic, because it's like, well, we're going to get girls into this, and they're already there. So they're just operating off the assumption. I mean, hell, my mom was a med student in the 70s, and it's like...
Yeah.
Now, she did have sexism. She had a teacher hand her a cup of coffee and say, "Okay, Bambi, it's going to get hard." But that's over 50 years ago. Although that guy did.
I was gonna say, I'm like, what a swell fella.
Yeah. Well, he apologized later, but he still tried to cover his ass of like, it's to toughen you up for, like to see if you had this stuff. But I mean, that's like as I said, that's 50 years ago.
Yeah, 2017 was almost 10 years ago.
Right.
God, aside from Picard, my side has almost entirely been DS9 stuff.
Okay, let's do something TOS related.
You know what? I'll do that.
Like, I don't know, draw Kirk as a Giga Chat or something.
That Brannigan.
See, I know what I want to do with Kirk.
I have been with a woman. Inform the crew.
What's up?
No, I was saying Zap Brannigan.
Jesus.
And I said I've been with a woman. Inform the crew.
Which is funny because which is funny because there was a Futurama episode where they literally met at the cast of Star Trek. Like,
Yes.
I feel like that's happened several times.
no, it was like it was the entire cast from from TOS, and they were being court-martialed by Zap.
Yeah. Okay. So, specifically in that episode, like any and all mentions of Star Trek were banned, despite the fact that literally he runs into Leonard Nimoy in the first episode. Okay. It's kind of drilled into me because my nephew has watched like every single episode of Futurama, and he has told me any and all plot holes and inconsistencies.
Did you tell him it's a comedy? It doesn't need to be consistent.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, sometimes they have really great continuity, so I don't know.
Okay, so continue, Dylan.
Oh my god. With him, I've at least seen that episode like 5 times.
Okay, so yeah, like Fry finds out that all the original cast members except Nimoy left Earth after Star Trek was banned, and then he goes and him, Leela, Bender, and Nimoy go to the Forbidden planet where the tapes were all sent to get it back because Fry loves Star Trek. And they end up trapped in a convention with a sentient gas cloud who is like a stereotypical Trekkie. And Fry challenges him on how much of a fan he actually is.
Wait, then they called it the Forbidden Planet?
They probably named the planet. I just remembered that it was forbidden. You were forbidden to go there.
I mean, I feel like calling it the Forbidden Planet would be kind of a funny, different callback.
It would be. That's what I'm thinking. It's like if they really did that, that's genius.
Maybe they did. It's been a while since I last saw that episode. But...
That's the 1956 movie that Star Trek is called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, featuring Robert the Robot.
But yeah, they get the cast members back and the tapes. But because they went to the Forbidden Planet, they get arrested by Zap and court-martialed.
I just think it's so funny that Zap was supposed to be a parody of Captain Kirk, and then they just get the real Captain Kirk, or William Shatner.
I have some animosity against Zap because I feel he's like Austin Powers is with James Bond, where the parody has like colored the people's interpretation of the real thing.
where people kind of assume that the parody is all there is to the character.
Right. Because the Kirk is the ultimate womanizer is an overblown stereotype.
Yeah.
Like,
Looking at the series, like, sure, he'll shack up, like, once in a while, but it doesn't happen nearly as much as often as people act like it does.
And they're just reading off-screen interpretations. Like, you couldn't show that on TV at that time anyway.
Fuck, Riker is more of a horn dog than Kirk is.
Well, Riker, you could actually confirm that it happened. On TOS, people are just assuming, like, okay, well, off-screen, I'm sure he got it on. Maybe, but it's not actually stated.
Then again, people also seem to have this flanderized version of Picard that he's like the ultimate gentleman and a diplomat. Have you seen how the man treats children?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No filthy child.
Or how about the fact that he tells Wesley to shut up while his mom is in the room?
Okay, let's be real. Everybody wants Wesley to shut the hell up. Picard was just saying what we were all thinking.
Well, even the mom says it in the same scene. Cause she,
yeah, like almost
help.
Right afterwards.
Yeah, because she tries to help him out, and she's like, shut up, Wesley. And then he says something, and then she says, shut up, Wesley.
Oh my god,
I'm trying to save your ass here.
Will Wheaton had like the ultimate crash out when everyone kept telling him to kept saying shut up, Wesley.
I remember. I actually remember that.
I'm not saying I condone like spanking your kids in real life, but I don't want to put that on YouTube. But I find it funny that of all the characters to make a like anti-corporal punishment statement, they picked Beverly and Wesley. They have her state.
Or Beverly Crusher.
Yeah, they have her comment. She was like influenced by an alien, and she slapped him. And she's like, "I don't understand. I've never struck Wesley in his life." It's like, guys, you realize you're saying this about the most annoying character. Like, the whole audience is just gonna say that's the problem.
Like contrast this, like if O'Brien did it with Molly, that would actually be horrifying.
No, yeah, people would be like, dude, what the fuck? With Wesley, It's like, look, I don't approve of it, but I understand where it came from.
I don't approve of beating your kids, but Wesley's like 15. It's more like a bar fight by his age.
Oh, God.
Maybe he'll make the football team. It'll help him out some.
What football team?
Well, there was that episode. where Wesley and the rest of Nova Squadron got court-martialed.
I'm remembering that one episode where Wesley had like that addictive video game thing that at the time when it was on, I thought that was ridiculous. That like, because it was already the Super Nintendo in real life, and adults didn't even play that. And I was thinking, like, there's no way you would get adults dangerously addicted to such simplistic gaming. And then the smartphone happened.
And you're like, yeah, I get it.
I mean, I couldn't believe it when I saw like 50, 60-year-olds addicted to Flappy Bird, Temple Run, and all that kind of stuff, Angry Birds. It's not even like the boomers took a while to get into it. They just were immediately like, and they had the money, so they were doing some of that nonsense on smartphones before people my age were. So that episode ended up kind of like being redeemed by history. It's like O'Brien and Julian with their historical simulations, and then when they're building that big D&D table, and I remember one of my parents thought that was ridiculous. They're like in the middle of a war. They wouldn't come in and want to play war simulations. And then I've known so many guys from Iraq who come home and play Call of Duty. So it's like they nailed it. The culture turned. Well, that happens all the time. Like the flip phone. Culture keeps turning into Star Trek. Brett, you sent me an AI video the other day about the M5 computer.
Oh yeah, yeah. SF Debris did a review of the ultimate computer, and it's like that thing's literally predicting the rise of AI in the 1960s.
I mean, I feel like that was kind of a popular topic whenever.
Well, it's more like I don't think they realized just how on the money they were. Oh, tribbles.
Hell yeah. I fucking love tribbles. It's actually another, that was actually the very first DS9 episode I ever saw.
Trials and Tribulations.
I just love the idea of, like, the fallout from the encounter with the tribbles involving, like, the Klingons going on an extermination campaign to wipe them from the galaxy.
I laughed so hard at that. I don't know why. One day I just was.
Do they still sing songs of the great tribble hunt?
Yep, that's the line. I was just randomly laying in bed one afternoon and I remembered the scene and just went into hysterics and could not stop laughing at the great tribble hunt. And Michael Dorn's deadpan acting was so good too, because he was taking it deathly seriously.
It's what made it. The fact that he took it so seriously just makes it.
Or how about the fact that they tried to explain away the difference in Klingons from TOS and TNG, and more of it's just like we don't talk about it.
That was funnier than what they did on Enterprise.
Oh, good, yeah.
Yeah, in Enterprise it was a plague.
Well, that came from that's what Julian said. It's like, was it some kind of genetic engineering? Was it some kind of plague? We don't talk about it with outsiders. And then in Enterprise, it was literally both of those things.
A genetic engineering plague.
Yeah, because they were in the Enterprise episode. It happens, and they were trying to make augmented Klingons, and they did it by sort of copying genetics from human augments. But the problem was, they ended up making a viral strain.
It's like the fucking FEV. Going
so
all,
they
getting all,
so while
all
they
out.
did make Klingons with enhanced physical traits, they also made them with more human features.
Yeah.
Also,
probably gave them like 9 kinds of cancer too.
Also, at the end of Trials and Tribulations, let's never forget the iconic image of Sisko completely fanboying over Kirk and asking the man for his autograph.
That's freaking awesome.
Here I colored Neko Klingon.
Also, I just want to say I want to say the Romulans are criminally underused.
I feel like a lot of the time what happens is that, like, we keep getting intimations of, like, some kind of broader plot that they're up to, and then their nefarious plot is never really described.
Oh god, this was something they even kind of made fun of on Lower Decks. Like, there were some Romulan lower deckers, and they were talking about how they were scheming against their commander. And then they get approached by an unidentified ship, and the commander asks his subordinate, "Was this your doing?" And he's like, "Of course not. I crave your destruction, but not like this."
Alright.
It's like, how do they get anything done if they're constantly scheming against each other?
Oh my god. Tula Berry Monster.
Well, nobody commented on my dad joke cartoon that's so bad that everybody's just kind of ignoring that I did it.
Is it the USS Dinner Pies?
Oh.
Yes.
My dad did USS Apple Pies.
Oh,
It's a dad joke.
Very much so. I feel like I mostly got... you know what, maybe I can improve it a little bit. I felt like I mostly got Kirk's likeness, but maybe if I stretch out his jaw a little bit.
Oh, I've got a story about tribbles. When I was a kid, I was really vulnerable to scary stories, right? And it was Christmas morning in 2000. Why did I say 2000? In 1995. And so I hadn't actually seen the old show, just the movies. And so my dad is telling me the Tribble episode story, but he scared the hell out of me because he made it sound like horror. He was like really good at making the stuff sound scary, and they come in and the room's full of them, and they're in Kirk's chair, and they're all over stuck to the walls, and then about how they finally got rid of them by the Tribbles ate the poisoned wheat and all. But so like the Worf version is what my dad had, like what my dad kind of made me think it was, and that's just funny now that I was actually frightened by the Tribble. I was about 8 years old.
Especially after you saw it, it's like, wait a minute, this shit is hilarious.
Yeah, but I didn't see it for a long time, so it's like, because I only saw one episode of TOS when I was 10. There was some kind of like Star Trek marathon on TV, and I saw the one with the evil Captain Kirk. But otherwise, you know, you caught stuff when it was on, and if you didn't have cable, you didn't really have a lot of reruns, and that was normal to us. But TOS was done in such a way that even if you only saw it one time, you basically got the whole premise. Kirk, Spock, Bones, and they'd have their philosophical discussions, and like, if it had just been one 40-minute movie, you'd understand.
Yeah.
It was kind of like House, where it was the same show every time.
Yeah.
Wait a fucking minute. I'm gonna make a slight edit to the Tribbles. Because I just realized something about these fucking things.
There's something I'm curious about.
What's that?
So, TOS was not exactly a hit when it aired.
Right.
It was a hit. It hit reruns.
Yeah, I know. It was kept alive through reruns, but I mean, like, when it originally aired, it wasn't a hit.
No. You mean the Lucille Ball story?
Okay. Is that the reason why?
She kind of stood up for it and saved it.
I don't know about the Lucille Ball story. Can you clue me in?
I'm just wondering, like, do we know why it wasn't a hit?
Oh, no. It was not a hit, but Lucille Ball went to bat for it, and that's how it at least finished its couple seasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, was it a case of network interference, or was the world just not ready for it?
Network wasn't ready for it. The other shows did well because they were in syndication.
Yeah, so kind of like Firefly, except they didn't futz with the order the episodes were aired in.
There we go. The Tribbles are now Karibos.
Okay. Here's a hard one. Best Star Trek villain that isn't Khan.
I fucking love Gul Dukat. I know, DS9 bias, but I love Gul Dukat. Dude is just so delightfully slimy and evil. I love him.
Forrester? Ooh.
Yo, Forrester, where are you at?
Forrester, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
If you are here, give us a sign.
Well, he's still drawing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but yeah, I would agree with you though, Nubble. It would be hard to argue that aside from Khan, anyone is better than Ducat.
Like he's just such a cool villain, and then like,
well, it's not just
he kind of goes through the whole fucking gamut.
Well,
What's up?
Yeah. I asked if you could name the Star Trek villain that's not Khan.
Oh, is Forrester back?
I thought he was.
There we go. Old Ducat.
Yeah.
Here, I'm drawing my take on Captain Kirk.
Like if it was DB's, like if it had been drawn by Toriyama.
For a second, I was thinking that he was gonna draw Femboy Kirk.
No.
Do what?
Not even Dylan would go that far.
I don't know.
Do what now?
Femboy Kirk.
Huh.
Dylan, please tell me not even you would do that.
Depends. Depends on if I feel like it.
Yeah, Duke. Okay, so Ducat is at least a close second to Khan. God, I'm having a hard, like maybe lore, but he's really relevant to Data's story.
Yeah.
I actually have a better idea.
Maybe you could say the Borg, but
like as a whole.
I guess, I mean, like, the Borg are definitely an antagonistic force, but they're not exactly what you'd call villainous. Like, they're not doing anything, like, they're not doing what they do because they're evil. It's just, they're just logic taken to its ultimate extreme.
Well, maybe not logic so much as, like, pragmatism.
Fuck, I can't even really call Q a villain because he's helping Kirk. Because he's not helping Kirk. Because he's actually helping Picard as much as he annoys him.
Yeah. Yeah, Q's kind of like there may be some like villainous tendencies, but Q is kind of, as much as Q probably wouldn't admit it necessarily on the spot, he's in Picard and Co.'s corner.
Yeah. By the way, John Delancey got cast as Discord in My Little Pony because of Q.
Oh, I believe we know, yes. Which is essentially almost the same role, but slightly more evil.
Until he gets his whole redemption arc thanks to Fluttershy.
Oh my goodness.
Femboy Spock, Dylan.
I had a feeling one of them would come up.
You could have drawn to Paul. You could have drawn to Lynn.
I mean, T'Pol basically is just female Spock.
I don't know. I mean, there's a bit of haughtiness to T'Pol. At least early on. Come on. come on, Dylan. Why do that to Spock when you had options? You had.
Because I don't
Does he
give
know
a
these
fuck.
options? Does he know those options, though, Brett?
I'm about to show him those options. Like, you could have done to Paul or to Lynn.
Become ungovernable.
Bottle the bottle the bottle the bottle the.
Or Savick. Forgot about Savick.
Alright, I'm gonna tell you something right now, okay? I don't give a shit. I'll do what I want.
I just love this little image of Ducat with the baseball.
About
Maybe
the
I
only
should
thing
put
they
him
did
in
wrong
a-
with Ducat is they kept him alive longer than they should have.
I don't know. I think my big problem with how they handled Ducat is that sometimes it felt like they didn't know what they wanted to do with him. And then by the time that they ended it, they basically turned him into the Antichrist, which again is not. It's not entirely unfair. I think I wouldn't say by any stretch that Ducat is a bad villain. Like I said, his flaws are mostly when the show just doesn't quite. It doesn't always feel like the show knew what they wanted to do with him.
Well, like if he had died at Waltz, like that would have been like the perfect way to end his story.
Yeah. Plus, I do remember hearing that, like, on some level, the writing crew, like, a lot of Ducat's popularity was carried a lot by Andrew. Was it Andrew Robinson?
Mark Alamo.
Mark Alamo. Mark Alamo's charisma is a lot of what carried Ducat as a character. Because I think I remember getting that the writing crew really, really wanted the audience to hate him, and hate him a lot. But Mark Alamo is just so damn charismatic that, yeah, he's an evil, slimy motherfucker, but God, he has a great screen presence. And people like seeing him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for what it's worth, he is a very fun villain, and they do a lot of good stuff with him.
Yeah. Whereas while I could accept the argument that Khan is the best villain, they've also tried to retell that story multiple times, and it's never really worked.
Multiple times.
Nemesis, and Into Darkness.
Okay, I knew about Into Darkness. I guess is Nemesis kind of a.
They were trying to tell a Khan-like story.
Okay.
So was First Contact, honestly.
Well, with First Contact, the difference is it worked with First Contact.
It did. And then they also recycled the Khan stuff in Season 4 of Enterprise, so it's kind of a running thing they keep trying to mine from. And then the Kobayashi Maru, they brought that back in 2009. They won't stop remaking it.
Of course, so you're muted for the longest time.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I had real life creeping in.
Ah.
Okay, so I'm gonna finally get an answer to my question. Best Star Trek villain who isn't Khan?
You answered it for me. It's Gul Dukat.
Hell yeah. My man.
Of course, so what do you think of Femboy Spock?
I believe Data put it best. I hate this. It is revolting.
Didn't he ask for more?
Yes. Also Generations was a terrible movie. Not that that's really a hot take.
Let's see.
But I think
All right,
honestly,
so
what's
how many other?
honestly though, I think
How
what's
many
kind of
other franchises have the thing where
say what?
where they have the thing where a certain number of the movies are bad and the other ones are good, like the odd ones are bad and the even ones are good?
I'm trying to think. Like it, not off the top of my head. And honestly, even that pattern got broken with Star Trek because Nemesis is an even number, and it sucks.
Although I suppose it's fair to say that like the odd number ones are weaker because they're not always like bad. They're certainly weaker than the even number ones.
Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it. But yeah, then the even numbered ones tend to be the ones everybody loves. The odd ones, very uneven in quality. Again, definitely weaker by comparison. Like first one, very boring to sit through.
Oh yeah.
Like its only value is being a sleeping aid.
Star Trek, the slow motion picture.
Classic.
A more specific joke would be where Nomad has gone before, but I don't expect people to remember that episode. But it was a remake of it, essentially.
Yeah.
They did that twice because Kirk's first episode, where he's like grilling the guy on what kind of a god would do this, that, and the other. It's the same thing as when what does God need with a starship?
Yeah. Search for Spock. Not bad, but considering it's coming off the heels of Wrath of Khan, it really should be a lot better than it actually is.
I mean, that's kind of a tough act to follow.
Well, the problem is that it was also kind of shot it was kind of handled like a TV episode, which showed Harv Bennett's background in television, and it was also Nimoy's freshman debut as a director. Where Final Frontier, yeah, that one is Forrester left, but I think he'll be back. But yeah, Final Frontier.
No, I'm here.
No, I mean you left the drop pile.
Oh, he just crashed. He's got to reload.
Yeah, Final Frontier. There is a good idea in there, but Shatner completely mismanaged the production. Generations, biggest wasted potential in the entire series.
Oh, for sure.
Insurrection.
It was a decent TNG episode. That's it.
But ultimately pretty forgettable.
Yeah, it would have been forgettable as an episode. It just existed.
And the funny thing is, at the time, people thought it actually broke the odd number rule. Like, people actually thought it was good back then. But then
I suppose when its competition is Generations.
I just now know your Uriel Septim Picard.
It's not just
the one
unfortunately, its competition and sucking isn't just Generations. It's also Nemesis. Like, Nemesis is a shallow, blatant attempt to remake Wrath of Khan for TNG, but does it just so bad. Not helped by the fact that Berman had lost most of the talented people from TNG.
There you go, Neville.
Thanks, Dylan.
2009.
You are the one from my dreams.
2009 is inoffensive as a one-off, but then you get to Into Darkness, which is just loud and immature.
And yet another attempt at Khan.
Which makes it even worse.
Yep.
Beyond actually kind of tries to right the ship, but I think by that point, people were kind of done with this little experiment.
Yeah, I think after Into Darkness, I think Into Darkness sort of... I think it kind of lost people.
Oh, and I can tell you why it did.
Why is that?
Roberto Orci has a big mouth.
Elaborate.
He said something to the effect of, well, I get to write the movies and you don't.
Oh! Well, I suppose we'll just not watch them then.
And unfortunately, to give Roberto Orci credit in one area, he can write movies that at least will make money.
That's, well, that's something, isn't it?
One of the movies of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is... It is certainly a movie of all time.
Yeah. I guess, I give Simon Pegg and, God, who was the director on Beyond?
Oh shit, I don't remember.
I know who he is because he also did Fast and Furious. Let's see. Justin Lin. I give Justin Lin and Simon Pegg some credit for trying to right this ship, but I think by then it was too little too late.
Yeah. Alright, Forrester, how do you feel about my Kirk likeness down there?
Forrester.
Is he dead?
Probably.
Rip.
He's still there, yeah. He's probably got real life intruding again. Honestly, I think it looks fine.
Yeah. I feel like I don't do likenesses nearly enough.
It's good practice.
Yeah. Let's see. I feel like Ducat needs a little work. I think I got Garrick alright, though.
I mean, Picard's easy. You just gotta...
Bald. You're good.
Oh, and to bring back to Nemesis. Do you want to know one of the funniest bits from that movie? It's unintentionally funny. So you know how part of the whole plot is that he's dealing with an evil clone of himself played by Tom Hardy?
Oh yeah.
Well, Kirk looks at a photo of himself from his cadet days, and it's Tom Hardy, but he's bald. Even though there were plenty of episodes on TNG that showed when Picard was still a cadet, he had hair.
Oh my god. Yeah, because Picard had luscious red hair, didn't he?
Point is, he wasn't bald. He didn't go bald that early in his life.
Nope. Bald. Yeah, I think. Howdy, hey.
So does anyone have any cool Star Trek merchandise?
Nope.
I got my mom a uniform once. I actually had an electronic tribble.
cute.
I have a prosthetic Klingon forehead prosthetic that's almost entirely degraded now, signed by the head makeup guy, Marvin Westmore. Or maybe he's the guy's brother. Maybe it was Michael was... Anyways, the House of Westmore who did the makeup. My mother was learning film makeup in Hollywood for medical reasons because she worked on burn patients. And she later worked with the Pentagon patients after 9/11. And she doesn't remember who she met because Marvin Westmore took her on the set, which I know Voyager and DS9 were in production at the time. And this was 1997, so I don't think any TNG people were there. And my mom's one of those people, she doesn't mean to, she's not making stuff up. Her memory is just terrible, and it interchanges who she thinks she remembers having met. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help that she didn't sit down and watch the shows till about 2018. So she had never seen DS9 or Voyager once at the time, only TNG, and she hadn't seen a whole lot of that. So her stories are unreliable. And exactly what happened in Hollywood in 1997 and who she met is like this mystery that like just tantalizes me. And I'm so mad that I couldn't have gone with her at the time. I was 10, and that would have been amazing. She was going to take me on her next trip, and her next trip never happened. But the Klingon head, Marvin Westmore, autographed it, and he wrote my name on it, to Forrester Marvin. And I've got it nearby here. If it was like live, I could show you. But you can barely tell what it is. I every time I see Klingons, I can't not look at their foreheads to try and figure out who wore this. It's not Michael Dorn's. So I don't know whose. It's some Klingon.
How many ridges has it got?
It could be any random extras for all you know.
Well, they did individual like forehead textures. They didn't reuse them. They all had different ones.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that could have belonged to an extra.
I think it was probably, but I'd love to figure out which one and which show.
Oh yeah. Also, to bring back to the Futurama connection. So. Mariner's parents on Lower Decks. They're voiced by Phil Hartman and Don Lewis. Try and guess where else you've heard them.
Shit, I don't remember.
Or rather try and think whom you might have heard them as. Because like I said, I was bringing it back to the Futurama connection.
Oh.
Everybody's drawing a blank?
Yeah. Just tell us.
There you go.
Alright, let's see. Well, alright.
Hermes and La Barbara.
No, La Barbara. Oh man. Well, I think we filled out our doodle sheet here.
Yeah.
My Samsung S Pen finally kind of gave up the ghost. I can barely write with it now. I've worn the tip down, and I need to.
I feel that
change
pain.
the tip.
Do you guys feel like this is going to be another topic where we can revisit it?
We might. Maybe after Dylan watches some.
We'll see. Okay, we'll see then.
Maybe I'll give Lower Decks a try and see if I hate it.
Okay.
I still want a James Bond stream.
Skip the first 2 episodes, Nibble.
All right.
Yeah. Then I think you'll have a better idea if you like it or not after that.
All right.
All right. If we got nothing else, then I will hit stop recording now.
Melvar, you have to respect your actors. When I directed Star Trek IV, I got a magnificent performance out of Bill because I respected him so much.
And when I directed Star Trek V, I got a magnificent performance out of me because I respected me so much.